What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Shuggie from Shook Earth Media, and today I was requested by a commenter and a viewer on one of my previous videos to react to some more of these episode insiders for The Walking Dead, and these are interviews with the showrunners and stuff like that. So we're just going to take a look at some of these interviews here, react to little bits of it, and let me know what you guys think. If you have other interviews or episode insiders that you want to have me take a look at, definitely comment down below. We'll take a look. I have one pulled up from the latest Walking Dead episode of the main show. We have an episode of Fear the Walking Dead, and we have an episode of World Beyond. So we'll be doing one of each show, and if you have any other interviews you want me to take a look at, please let me know, and I will be sure to do that. But yeah, we're just going to jump right in here. I won't be able to show too much of it because if you saw my previous reaction, Content ID gets a little upset if I play too long of the footage. So we're probably going to be cutting to the footage of my beautiful face, and then you guys will see that and you will hear the interview. But yeah, so we're going to have to pause and stuff like that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This is the finale of part 1 of season 11 of the Walking Dead main show. So the final season, if you guys saw my reviews, you can see my reviews of each individual episode. I think that the first part of season 11 was mostly filler. I mean, it's not in the comic. The whole Reaper arc, I think it was rather weak. So I wasn't really that into the Reaper arc in general. So that's what this interview deals with, and we're going to just react to little bits of it.
We're starting with this image of these walkers that are moving in a swirl, and what we really wanted to show is that through time, our characters have learned from their enemies.
This is one thing that I did praise this episode for. I like the opening, seeing the swirling zombies and bringing in the Whisperer tactics into how Maggie and the group are attacking the Reapers, so I do like that element of it. Yeah, and it also shows that our group is using villainous tactics, brutal tactics, showing them to be not necessarily the good guys, right? So I like that aspect of it. It shows the desperation. So I do like the whole, using the Whisperer tactics. I like that. This shot again, bringing this up, just reminds me of like how terrible of a strategy this is on the Reaper's part. Like it looks intimidating. The look is cool. It looks more like a promotional poster than it does an actual part of the episode. But yeah, I mean, it makes no sense because A, we know that they have guns at this point. We know that the Reapers have guns, so why doesn't somebody have a gun? Secondly, if they're attacking on sight, they would know that the people they are attacking might retaliate. All it takes is one machine gun. All of them are dead. So
Hope at this point has kind of accepted that Daryl is part of the group and Daryl has won enough trust, but I
don't know what he has done to do that. The only thing that he did to earn their trust is survive a burning fire and torture a guy, right? That's like the only thing that he did. So I don't really get how he's shown any sort of loyalty or anything like that. And yeah, I don't know that I agree with what she's saying here.
Is that a time?
Oh, they didn't kill him. She did. My enemy.
Yeah, and this is another thing I don't get. Like he's acting like he knows his enemy so well, and yet they're interrogating people to find out stuff about her. And I don't even think he knew that the leader was a woman, right? Because then they didn't they get a guy to be like, oh, there's a woman that's leading them. Like, I don't know.
for Leah, she's seeing that Hope is spiraling, and for her, this group has given her the only family that has ever meant anything to her.
So we've got no evidence of that other than what she says. We see nobody showing Leah any sort of kindness or any loyalty. We found her originally in a cabin in the woods on her own. At that point, she'd left this group, and then they found her again because they knew each other pre-apocalypse. in the mercenary business. So they knew each other pre-apocalypse. She left them, was surviving on her own, and then went back to them. So the fact that she left and then came back, that's not that doesn't show loyalty, right? And also, like, I don't know why she feels that this ruthless pack of people that just attack people on sight, that just murder everybody, like, I don't know why she feels close with them at all. So the whole family angle, I didn't really buy. I can understand why she was with them from a survival standpoint. It's better to be with a group than without one. But I don't know why she's so close with this group. They didn't really do a great job at establishing that, in my opinion.
It's the only stability that she's ever really had in her life.
And, like, even in her childhood and stuff, I don't remember her introduction episode a lot very well, and I'm not gonna watch it again. But so she had a terrible upbringing as well. She never had any friends. She, like, never trusted anybody ever. And the mercenary group, a group of paid killers, is somebody she's gonna, like, really feel attached to. I don't see that.
Setting, and she feels like he has definitely crossed something that is a clear line, but she's hoping that he can be pulled back from that in some ways, but the evidence is
I don't think we got enough evidence of how Pope used to lead the group prior to this situation, because when we don't get to see a change over time, right? We just get introduced to him and then he's killed off not very long after. So we don't get to see this change. I assumed, based on my own personal viewing, that Pope always led the group like this, that he was always a ruthless guy. He killed a guy in the episode where he's introduced around the campfire. He kills a guy because he had wounds on his back, which he thought that meant that he was running away from a fight, even though we saw that fight and he just got attacked from the back. He ran away after because he was thoroughly defeated. So he looks like an idiot, right? But we don't. That's how he's introduced. So I just assumed, based on that that's just who he is. So we don't get any significant, like, change to see, oh, he was different before. Not even really in dialogue from Leia. So again, it's just another thing I don't feel was established very well.
That he no longer cares if the collateral damage happens to their own people.
Yeah, see, why is that different now? Just because of Maggie? He didn't even know who Maggie was, right? They just, his enemy. Like, why we didn't really get to see the altercation before. I guess Maggie was staying where they're staying now. Originally, they took it over. We didn't get to see too much of that altercation, but the fact that they have to interview a guy to find out who the leader is, I don't even know what they're going to do with that information. So that whole, like, interrogation thing didn't make sense to me at all. Especially because Maggie's group, they didn't even have a plan going in, which they really should have had a better plan. But, like, so why, if he knew so much about this group and this enemy meant so much to him, how come he needed to interrogate people to find out who the leader is, you know?
In every war, there is sacrifice.
Yeah, and the fact is, if they're this ruthless, they attack people on sight all the time, they're these paid killers and stuff, they would have made enemies already. There would have been many altercations prior to this, and they almost surely would have had collateral damage before. So I don't view this as a unique situation.
I think Rosita, she's always been a great soldier. She does what has to be done. She's very tough and pragmatic, a great warrior. Also, she is a mother. She is somebody who is a leader of this community.
But they barely ever show her with the baby.
People back at home safe so that there's somebody to come and bring this food back to. And for Rosita...
So with this whole, girl power moment with Rosita, for me it's either one of two things. One, they just wanted to show her killing a bunch of zombies, and that's cool. But, you know, honestly, at this point in the show, it's not really all that impressive. You know, it honestly, like, it's a bit old. But Number two, they did this because she actually got bit here, and they're going to show it later. So I honestly think two is fairly likely. There's a good chance of that, in my opinion. So we'll find out.
About Michonne, because she misses her so very much and still believes she's out there and believes she's going to come home someday.
Yeah, I'm not really that. I know they had to write off Michonne, so Denai could run her own show and do other stuff, and I get that. And I prefer that she didn't die, so, you know, she's going to be in the movies. That's cool. I didn't really care for her abandoning her children, though. It's just not a thing that I like. But I do appreciate this grief storyline. But it is kind of clashing with how they don't really show Judith having other emotions. They kind of show Judith as being very cold, or not necessarily cold, but she's trying to be tough, right? So it kind of contradicts that. And I almost wish that they showed more vulnerability with Judith outside of these one-on-one conversations. So, yeah, that's just one particular. These scenes don't hit as hard because Judith has this tough exterior. So, you know.
There is that core to her that still believes in things that are not just what the Reapers believe.
So, like, yeah, they show Leia not killing people when Pope told her to. Again, it's just showing a lack of loyalty, so it's not really this family, right? And also, how is she with these people? How does she feel that these people are so important to her if they're just killing people on sight and they're vicious murderers? How does she feel that attached to it if she doesn't believe in the vicious murdering? And also the Daryl-Leia relationship I never really bought into in the first place. So, you know, and the whole having them argue and the toxicity that she's talking about, I never found it compelling. So, yeah, it just didn't really fit in the story for me. And, you know, I don't know. I didn't really care for it.
I think that he sees that there is still a good person in there. There is somebody that is still...
She's so good, but she's in a group where they literally hang dead bodies upside down. Like, oh, she's such a good person.
Kill Pope. And Daryl was right. Leah was at a place where she was willing to help him with that because Pope was too far gone. But when he threw that knife into the heart of Anchetta's chest, it became this reminder for her of, yes, he was right about Pope, but how many...
See, if that guy didn't get killed, though, she would have been at odds with her own supposed family. If she cared so much about the family, this would have been a group decision, right? Again, the family angle, I just can't bring myself to really see it like that. If she cared so much about her family, why wouldn't she have, like, kidnapped Daryl or something here? Or, I don't know, man.
He's dead. Dixon murdered him. He's with the enemy.
It's a really complex...
Yeah, she didn't think that through at all. We talked about that in my review, but, like, she didn't think that through because she was there when it happened. She's gonna get blamed for it. Her supposed family, she's trying to be the leader now. They're gonna question her, or it's just bad writing. So,
where's Leah gonna end at the end of all of this? I think is just the question that we've gotta see when we get into episode 9.
Yeah, I just gotta cut to the Earl Sweatshirt meme. Don't care, still don't care, don't care, I don't care.
Don't care, don't care, don't care, still don't care, I don't care. I don't. What did you say? I don't care!
So moving on to the portrait. We reviewed the interview for the mid-season finale of Fear. So we already talked about that in great detail. I thought we'd go back an episode and see what they had to say about the portrait episode.
Victor? We said this was going to be the season where Strand was kind of unleashed, and we'd see Strand at his, for lack of a better word, his strandiest.
Enough, sir.
Strand typically has been a very logical person. And here he's not acting logical at all. If anything, he's kind of unhinged. So I feel like it's not the same Strand. So saying he's at his strandiest doesn't really jive with me. So that's just my opinion on it.
I don't understand. What's wrong?
It's actually the
Yeah,
thing
like and he threw it off the cliff, and then immediately he's like, "Oh yeah, bring in Morgan," even though I just said don't bring in Morgan.
it is in fact because he's lonely, because he needs an equal in here.
He's lonely. Bro, there's so many people here.
But that equal isn't Morgan. That equal is in fact Alicia.
The equal is not Morgan. What is so amazing about Alicia? Like, I don't get why he's so obsessed with finding Alicia. We said in my last thing, like, it's almost like he has a thing for Alicia, but we know he doesn't because he's gay. So I don't understand it. Why is he so obsessed? I need an equal. Someone who really sees me for me. Like, it sounds like he's got a fucking crush on her, dude. It's fucking weird.
Why you let me in here?
And the only reason he wanted Morgan to come in here is because he thinks Morgan's the person who can go out into the world and find Alicia and convince.
Yeah, well, we already know Morgan can just find anybody, anywhere, at any time. Morgan's just fucking magical. He shows up exactly where he fucking needs to be. It's so annoying, dude. It's genuinely very frustrating that Morgan is just like this all-knowing, omnipotent motherfucker, dude.
He still needs what everyone else needs, and that's companionship. That's love.
Oh my god, dude. And why would Alicia give that to you? Like, I think I literally said that in the last video. But like, dude, it's so ridiculous, bro.
But as long as he is centered and in his right mind, he really does adhere to moral principles. But this episode sees him take a big step because he tries to take Strand's life when one could argue there are other ways to navigate that situation.
Yeah, he's talking about it. He undercuts his own fucking writing because he's like, oh, Morgan has these moral principles, but he's fucking killing somebody when he doesn't have to. But the only reason I can really think of is vengeance, that Morgan is doing this. And it's really, and this whole thing again is like
catapulting walkers filled with explosives.
Yeah, and since for that review, I was thinking about it. I was like, dude, why do they need, if they want to just throw bombs at a building, why do they need to put them in zombies? Just literally throw the bomb in the fucking building. You don't need to throw zombies. It's so stupid, man. So stupid. And you can't dismantle warheads like that. That's just not how it works.
Actually, an idea that we had back in season 5.
It looks so stupid.
We were looking for.
I don't know. People like it because it's creative. It's different. It's something new with the zombies. But if you think about it critically, it makes no sense at all.
And the moat that Strand has built with walkers.
Yeah, and this moat, like, it makes no sense either because it's just such a vulnerability. I mean, how many times have we seen they're gonna breach the wall at some point? All that an enemy group, like that enemy group throwing catapults, they could have just put one of their bombs, thrown it at this wall, blown a hole in the wall, zombies come pouring in. That, like, there's so many different ways this whole situation could have, gone differently. That would have made a lot more sense. So, and they don't need a warhead to throw explosives. I mean, you can make explosives out of other shit.
And then we were trying to find a way that Arno can do more damage than just getting walkers inside. We were looking for was a way to pay off the warhead that the stalkers found a couple episodes ago.
Wow, like, they're making it sound like they just they write these episodes week to week and they don't have a plan going forward. That's what it sounds like here. Oh, we needed to find a way to use the warhead, so we wrote it in here. They're trying to they're blowing up this place they want to supposedly live in. It makes no sense, dude. It would make more sense to breach the wall, have the zombies pour in. Because then the structural integrity of the tower stays intact. But there's a hole in the wall, you can fix the wall later, and the zombies will do the fighting for you.
And it's really putting Strand in this position where his paranoia is allowed.
Yeah, and he just looks insane in this episode. He looked insane before he got poisoned, and then it gets even worse after. So it's like, at a certain point, it's like, why are people even following him? He's clearly fucking nuts. I don't know why he doesn't think it's Morgan right away, Morgan shows up, and then all of a sudden he's poisoned. I would put 2 and 2 together immediately, you know? They didn't even explain in this interview why Morgan did it.
A Strand becoming a bit more ruthless than we've seen him be.
Strand's gonna become a bit more ruthless. I mean, he already had a family killed to try to convince fucking Dwight and Sherry to find somebody. To find somebody, he already knew where they were. And, dude, it makes no sense. The whole Strand I don't understand what's going on with Strand at all.
Take him to the roof.
Strand is fully embracing his dark side. He's not going to be fooled again.
It must be.
Dude, and this whole thing was so stupid too, because like Grace calls in and is like, you need my help to find the fucking bomb zombies, even though it's very obvious to the eye which zombies have bombs in them, and they don't need her at all. But it works for some reason, because they can't kill Morgan because he's number 1 on the call sheet, and they probably want him in the movies eventually. Okay, yeah, that we've had enough of that one. We know where that goes. So let's just move on to World Beyond. So we're looking at, this is season 2, episode 1. I looked at some of the other interviews for some of the later episodes, but you know, I didn't find anything new that I didn't say in my reviews already. So we're gonna talk about this one because I have some things to, some knowledge to drop on you guys.
And in episode 3 last season, we confirmed that the campus colony was deliberately destroyed by the CRM. But
even though we knew that in episode 1, I don't know why they're acting like it was only episode 3 it was confirmed.
One was the fact that it wasn't just the campus colony that was destroyed, it was also the city of Omaha.
Which, like, I don't know why it had to be both, you know? At least they have an explanation for it at the end. You can see my finale review if you want to see, like, my thoughts on their explanation for it. Or actually, I think it was the second to last episode.
It seems pretty crazy that Elizabeth would say life is a gift after we've just seen her kill 100,000 people.
Yeah. Again, they're undercutting their own writing.
Good. She oversaw the destruction of 100,000 people, which is a horrible, horrible thing. And we saw in episode 3 last season that she was shedding a tear over it. She's not this cold, hard person with no feelings.
Do I buy that? Not really.
What Elizabeth does to Hope on that roof comes as a shock to Huck. A big portion of this season is really about their mother-daughter.
Yeah, so he goes on to say the mother-daughter relationship is a big part of the season. It's really not. I mean, it was like a little bit of it, and then she isn't even in most of the second half of the season. So, you know, I think that's kind of funny. But this whole situation where she's like, oh, we need to test Hope. So we're going to test Hope's loyalty. And how we're going to do it is we're going to send her off and then tell her she can come back with us. And her choices are die of starvation or come with us. That's not a test of loyalty, man. That's just a basic, like, oh, survival. I'm going to come with you to survive. That doesn't make me loyal. And you see it with Hope at the end of this episode. She tells Huck straight up, like, I'm never going to be one of you. So it's, like, such a bad test. It makes no sense, dude. So dumb. And then especially after they spent all this time trying to get Hope here. And I still don't understand what's so special about Hope. Not much, really.
If the CRM sees her daughter as successful, I do think, in a way, that will help Elizabeth see her own daughter as successful.
I've only ever wanted the best for you.
That makes no sense at all. Why does the other people's opinion affect her opinion? That doesn't make any sense. He's not accounting for the fact that she approved this mission, so she's on the line as well. You know?
It's like she is basically saying, you know, F you to the CRM. I don't need anyone. I can survive. And what she realized...
She's supposed to be this very smart person, and yet she can't calculate the fact that she can't survive on her own. It's so dumb. And they couldn't think of it, like, she's not smart enough to get there on her own, so they had to have her hit her head and hallucinate a bunch in order to get her there as a character. So, again, like, the characterization and motivations here,
Not the case.
And the stealth zombie, I'm really sick of at this point in the franchise. Zombies are loud and noisy most of the time, as they should be, and then when it's convenient for the storyline, they're silent.
When we first met Iris way back in the pilot in season 1, we were introduced to her dreaming that she was essentially dead. She wasn't empty, roaming the earth kind of aimlessly. And that was a testament to how she was really feeling inside. She felt dead inside because she hadn't really found her purpose.
And her purpose was murder.
She's not one of them, which is, you know, she's pulling the face off an empty, and we see her hand connect with the empty's face and rip apart that flesh. And underneath, we see a CRM helmet. And what that's telling her is behind these empties, behind this empty attack, is the CRM. The seemingly random, horrible event that happened back at the campus colony wasn't random at all. It was a deliberate
She got the
event.
truth in a dream, didn't have evidence. Yeah, okay, we listen to dreams now, and that's just facts, apparently.
Pretty much whatever it takes to get what she wants.
She's a psycho murderer, bro.
Not
She's
only
psycho.
is she killing empties, she kills a person. That's a huge deal, and that has a huge impact.
And that whole thing, like, I don't think they realize how much they undercut the CRM with this show. And on Fear, they made all their soldiers look like they're not very well trained and they're mostly useless. So, you know, they tried to unpeel this mystery, make them very intimidating. They've completely failed with this show. So that's going to be my reactions for these interviews. Let me know in the comments down below. Like I said, if you have anything else you'd like me to check out, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And we will continue to make Walking Dead videos as the show is gearing up to return in February. So I'm excited to see it. We'll be covering news and any trailers or anything like that come up in the future. So be sure to hit subscribe if you want to see more Walking Dead content, and hit like if you like this video. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace out, everybody.